What's good, everybody? Welcome into Inside the Green Room with Danny Green. I'm Harrison Sanford. So much is going on in the world of basketball. We got the second weekend of the NCAA tournament approaching, and then we have a major injury for one of the playoff contenders in the Eastern Conference, i.e. Damian Lillard and the Milwaukee Bucks, and what that could potentially mean for Giannis Antetokounmpo's future with Milwaukee. Then Doc Rivers says something absolutely crazy. A lot's going on. And then a lot happened actually on Wednesday when LeBron James and Danny.
A lot happens. A lot has happened in the sports world, my dog.
Yo, here's the thing. And there's so many different layers to this, right? So there was a perceived beef between Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee, right? Because Pat McAfee came to the network and Pat McAfee, getting his fair share of airtime.
Stephen A. Smith taking over.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith was in the middle of contract negotiations. Now, I can't confirm this. This is just rumors that the internet was making up, right? But, it felt like there's some validity to it. So, Stephen A. Smith gets in this whole little beef with LeBron. LeBron confronts him. And Stephen A. Smith then talks about the altercation. And then LeBron James, a week later, basically goes on the show that's right after Stephen A. Smith's first take, and he gives Pat McAfee the boost in ratings as he went on his show for an entire, not just 5 minutes, for a whole entire hour, and discussed a multitude of things. One, discussed how the cookies when he was on the plane with the Miami Heat were taken off. He used to getting cookies, and Pat Riley apparently said no more cookies on the plane. He talked about his beef with Brian Windhorst. Apparently, Brian Windhorst, he feels like Brian Windhorst tried to act like he's his best friend, which he is not. He also said he didn't get number 20. He didn't sign with Nike because of Michael Jordan. He said that when he's done playing, maybe him and Mike will have a better relationship. He also, I'm trying to run through all the things that he said. He said a lot. He started a conspiracy theory, or maybe confirmed the conspiracy theory, or added on to the conspiracy theory that the NBA set it up, that Cleveland got the first pick on purpose. The lotteries. Just like New York got the first pick on purpose for Patrick Ewing.
Chicago as well.
Bulls got it for Derrick Rose. There's a multitude of things that he said. Those are the ones that just come off to my mind. I'm sure if I watch it again, I'll come up with even more. But as you watched it or seen clips, what stuck out to you the most about the LeBron Pat McAfee interview?
What stood out to me the most about LeBron's? I didn't get a chance to watch the whole thing. It looks like must-see TV entertaining.
He was candid.
It was, and I love the fact that it was like LeBron James on the shop. It was more like that side of him. And we talked about this off air. He said a lot of things without saying a lot of things. But the fact that he touched on these things, had to address it, which was cool. He said Stephen A. was on a Taylor Swift tour, going on a rant of how the interaction was, and he couldn't wait to be spoken about. So I get it. But in the same breath,
Smith doing his job.
He's doing his job. And in the same breath, he said he had issues. He didn't have issues with him doing his job, but I didn't see where he might have taken it personal. I guess when he said it, speaking as a father, when he said as a father, maybe that might be taken in a personal sense. But to me, I don't know if he took it to a personal level. And obviously, Stephen A. is getting some backlash for now praising Bronny because Bronny's playing well. He played well in the G League, had 39 points the other night, had 17 career high in the NBA. So there's a lot of people going back and forth of giving Stephen A. his fair share. But ultimately, it was funny, man. It was funny to watch. It was fun to see the clips and fun to see, him actually go on the show, step out of his shell a little bit more. Is that usually he does that on the shop. We haven't seen him on the shop in a while. But, Pat McAfee got a good one. Got him to talk, about all these things that he normally doesn't address. This is not what LeBron normally addresses or, entertains. But, for good TV and for Pat McAfee, he did. It was funny to see. It was great to see. And I'm glad he, showed that side of him.
LeBron is so calculated, bro. This wasn't just some random ass appearance on the Pat McAfee show. Number one.
Nothing is ever random. It's never. You said candid. There's nothing candid about LeBron's life. Now there's nothing candid about his life. Everything is calculated.
It was definitely calculated, but in the sense that he was speaking so freely. But in terms of him actually doing Pat McAfee, it's all a part of a press run because he also announced that him and Steve Nash have launched the podcast Mind the Game, essentially the same podcast he was doing with JJ Redick. Now he's doing it with Steve Nash, and episodes are available. That is why he gave Pat McAfee a whole hour, because it was promo. Now, yes, he still ended up talking about relevant topics, but there was a reason why he didn't just hop in for an hour. There was a promotional
it wasn't free.
aspect.
It wasn't a free thing. It's movie time. Premiere time, and we got something coming out with that. You know how motherfuckers get when the album about to drop, when Kanye start going on his rants. I'm not saying he's Kanye, but you know how when movie premiere, some guys coming out the woodworks, they have something happening. But he's always usually on. He's always relevant. He's always in face. And but he was coming on there for the ulterior motive.
100%. That's exactly what he was doing. I think one of the things, Danny, that also, stuck out to me during the interview, one, he talked about Bryce and how far Bryce has got. Well, one, he talked about Bronny and talked about how people don't realize how difficult it could have been or it has been to come back from the cardiac arrest. He spoke about how proud he was of him. Then he also talked about Bronny as well, Bronny going to Arizona.
Bryce.
Bryce, excuse me. And when asked about the college game, he actually said he doesn't watch college basketball. And it was so interesting to see somebody who clearly loves the game of basketball
be truthful,
express so much disinterest in the college game. He pointed out the 30-second shot clock. He pointed out that every time somebody slides under a player, it's called a charge. Him and the rest of the people during the interview, they bemoaned the fact that they play 2 halves as opposed to 4 quarters, and how that interrupts the flow of the game. And he talked about being limited to 5 fouls. And he even said, if Cooper Flagg picks up 2 fouls in the first half, in the first 10 minutes, he's not going to play to the second half. Who wants to watch that? And it was so interesting to hear. Again, somebody who's a basketball lifer, somebody who clearly loves the game. Look at the shape he's kept his body in. He clearly loves the game, obsessed about the game, clearly. For him to be so disinterested in the next generation that's playing college basketball, I think is that's a hard pill to swallow if you're the NCAA.
For sure. And once again, like you said, there's nothing that he does that's not calculated. I think this is not, he may not watch it as much as he used to. I think he watches it. I think he wants to see change. Who other than him that has a voice that can actually put things in motion to change a game in our sport, any level, to make it better? He said something about the high school rules. Guess what? High school rules will probably change next week. You know what I'm saying? He's speaking on college now. Bryce is going to be in college, and he wants to help, and his son's team wants to figure out a way to make the game better for people to watch it, and also for them to play and be, I guess, adjust better to the next level and to be similar to the next level. So have a charge circle, have a 3-second in the paint, certain things I'm sure he's pointing out, but more so the 5 foul, 6 foul, it makes sense. 2 halves, 4 quarters might be a little bit better. He's pointing out things that may make a change. And I think the surprising fact to me is that not that he's truthful, people, because a lot of guys don't go on air and just say, oh, no, I don't watch it at all. Like, he'll just say, I watch some of it. Most in the past, they'd be like, because he's a basketball head. But because he's showing I think the reason he's being brutally honest and showing his disinterest is because he wants to see change. This is a calculated move by LeBron James. And if there are some changes to be made in NCAA, who's going to get the credit for it. Where it stems from. And this could have been a conversation he had in his podcast or a barbershop or just with another, group of homies somewhere. But I'm sure they were like, Mav and Rich, and I'm like, they probably need to change the college game. Some of their clients that they have, that we need to make it better for them to adjust coming out of college, or something that people want to watch.
I didn't even factor that point.
Forget that he has an agency.
Yeah.
So he has an agency. He definitely watch. His people watch the game. He definitely scouting high school, college. He maybe not as much as he used to, but these are calculated moves, man. Nothing that he's doing is not something that he's thought through before he went on that show.
I didn't even factor in the fact that he has an agency. So, it's definitely going to help. It's definitely going to help players be better pros if they actually played the college game. Like, there's so many different players who would probably look so much better in the NBA or in college if they just played by college rules. Now, speaking of things that might be wrong with the college game, let's go into that as we embark on the second weekend of the NCAA tournament. So, Danny, the lowest seeded team is Arkansas, coached by John Calipari, which has a number of players who played at Kentucky last year. Not really a Cinderella. And there's this belief now with NIL that you're not going to have any Cinderellas anymore. And I understand people being, turned off by that because we all love a Cinderella story. But if we're keeping it a bean, nobody wants to watch a 20-point blowout in the Sweet 16. With that being said, though, however, I do think because of the way that NIL is structured, what is going to happen to the entire college game is going to be very interesting because let's just say, Danny, you're North Carolina and you're Hubert Davis, and you better make a run in the NCAA tournament next year. All right, man, I'm about to get that role player, that senior from Colorado State. I'm about to get that big man who just wants to be at a big program for his senior year. All he wants to do is rebound. I'm gonna get him, and all of the and I feel like the diaper dandies might lose out on the premier programs. The diaper dandies won't be existing like they used to. If I'm North Carolina, if I'm Duke, if I'm one of these programs, bro, just give me all the best seniors in the country. What I need a freshman for?
If you can afford it, yeah.
But I can afford a senior from Utah State who could be a better college. I mean, he might not be a better player, but he's probably going to give me better results in the NCAA tournament. That's
for sure.
If I look at Jonathan Gavone, I'm gonna let you go, but I just want to make one more point, and it'll probably crystallize my point here. If Jonathan Gavone, who works for NBA, who does NBA draft coverage for the ESPN, he put out a top 10 poll. A consensus top 10 for this upcoming NBA draft. Players that are on this. Jeremiah Fears from Oklahoma, they're out the tournament. Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper didn't make the tournament. VJ Edgecombe from Long Island, by the way, plays for Baylor. Top 5 consensus pick, not in the tournament. All freshmen. And I just think that, and look at the freshmen, they're not advancing in the tournament. So again, if I'm Bill Self, if I'm Hubert Davis, if I'm John Shire, if I'm name your big time college basketball, if I'm Kelvin Sampson out of Houston, just give me the developed body and mature game of a junior and a senior, and they could transfer in from Akron. They can transfer from Toledo. Yeah. I don't care because I don't need the elite. You're about to leave me in a year talent because my job is not to make NBA players. My job is to win NCAA tournament games.
Yeah,
and I think that has to have a real impact on youth basketball, Danny.
For sure. I can agree, but also I can see the other side. I can disagree in a sense. We heard Rick Pitino say, I can't replace these guys with freshmen. But when it comes to NBA prospects and talent, the older guys are not looked at or valued like we have the potential of younger kids. So these seniors and juniors, they may be better, more polished, but they're not going to be, the best pros. They may not be predicted as first rounders. And some schools value getting the top recruits and getting NBA guys or pro prospects coming out of their program.
No, but that's what John Calipari did at Kentucky, and look what happened. It ended up with him not being able to survive all the headaches and all the pressure that was given to him in Lexington because he kept on recruiting the freshmen and not winning. So he got up out of there.
He was there for a long time. But ultimately, you can have a mix of both and do it. Yes, the Cinderella stories may not happen as much. The cream will rise to the top. I don't think there's any school that can afford everybody. Give me the top of everybody. You get a couple guys, but the talent's going to be spread out. Guys going to get money where they can go, and there's going to be a lot of older players now since the fact that they're giving JUCO guys extra years of eligibility. So I feel for the high school kids more than anybody because it's harder for them to find scholarships.
Yeah.
But ultimately, top schools still want those young talent, high potential, young talented guys. There's going to be, I don't say there's a bunch of Cooper Flags out there, but there's going to be top prospects that you want to try to get. And not everybody can pay for all of them. You can get one of them. You see AJ goes to BYU. You see, Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey go to Rutgers, and then Cooper Flag goes. And even, McQueen is in Maryland. Like, that Mount Verde team had a lot of guys that were D1 players, and they're all spread out. So there's talent that you can get that are younger. I think the biggest issue is when it comes to the NCAA tournament and having the Cinderella story. It's to me, I still think that you have a chance of not getting somebody that's going to go to the Final Four, but you still have a chance of teams upsetting teams. Like, it's still like playing the lottery because any given night, a McNeese can beat a top team because they had an off night. It's hard to win your losses when you're shooting that terribly. When St. John's has a really poor night shooting, and the other team's star player is not shooting well either, that's just the part of the tournament. Yes, the talent is probably better than it is a 16 seed or a 12 seed, but you're still going to get good basketball. You're still going to get unpredictable, situations when it comes to the tournament. It may be the better teams. It may be the teams with the most money, but it's still very unpredictable because it's a one game elimination. But yes, the Cinderella story may not happen as often. You weren't going to see George Mason go for a Final Four run. They can get to a Sweet 16 maybe, or 32, or you know what I'm saying? I don't know if they get to 8, but probably a Sweet 16.
They getting one win, Danny. The days of the
we just saw
San Diego State in the Final Four. It ain't happening.
What's the white kid that shot all them threes that was lighting people up last year? Was it last year or the year before?
That was last year. It's a new this Danny, this year.
Were they in Oakland? What was the school?
Oakland. I think it was Oakland last year, yeah. I think it's over, bro.
Yeah.
It's over.
Okay. There's going to be – listen, there's going to be – you better leave it. It's a tournament, man. Those teams that have guys that stay for a long time, they stay in those places for a long time for a reason because they don't get highly recruited. So they can keep guys – like Purdue will keep guys – like they can keep guys for 4 years, 3 or 4 years. Some of those programs that keep guys 3 and 4 years, they'll have better teams than they will have teams that are recruiting these guys year in, year out. To get free agents every year, that doesn't create a better team to me. I think you still have a chance of losing when you have those groups. But
even still, but that's what I'm saying. Like the best right state, if they kept their core up until their senior year, they could pull off an upset. But the problem is, by the time Wright State's 2 best players get to their junior year, Now they're playing for Clemson. Yeah. Now they're playing for NC State. So then what has to happen? The Wright States of the world, the Ohio universities of the world, then have to pull up from the JUCO ranks, and they have to start all over again. I just don't think you're going to see that. But it is what it. Again, I'm not that upset because I don't want to see 20-point blowouts in the Sweet 16. So it is what it is. But I do think, and I really do think, it does make it more difficult for the diaper dandies because now teams not going to be on your bumper like that, like they used to. Like if you a McDonald's All-American and they're still going to recruit you, but it's not going to be flooded like it used to be because I could be Hubert Davis, and I'm referencing UNC a lot because there's a lot of pressure now what happened this year to win next year. I could be Hubert Davis, be like, I don't need a freshman point guard right now. I need a senior point guard right now. I don't have a season to waste. And it's going to be, there's a change into the guard happening. That's for sure. It's going to be interesting to see how it kind of all plays out. But I want to get to the pros real quick, and we'll do that in just a moment. But we must be, if we're talking about college basketball, we at least have to spend a moment here to talk about the Juju Watkins injury. What an unfortunate happening for the world. I'm not talking about college basketball. I'm talking the world of basketball.
Yeah,
that
not just women's,
right
not
there,
just men's.
Danny,
Yeah, the whole world of basketball. And I had PTSD
that
watching it. I don't know if you see it. I saw it. It really shocked the nerve, through me was watching it, because I've had that, not the exact same injury, but I've had a knee injury, and watching a knee injury like that happen, it was nasty to watch, man. It was disheartening. It was heartbreaking to watch, see her. She's having such a great career. I know she'll bounce back. She'll be fine. She's in a good space. But to have to, hit a pause, we've seen Paige do it. She did a great job coming back. But the path that she was on and the flow that she said, numbers she was putting up, and just what she meant to the game and the timing of it. The NCAA tournament is coming around. Like, she means a lot to the game. So, you always hope that the individual is okay, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Same with, we'll talk about later, Dame Lillard. And then you talk about what's going to happen with the future and with the organization and the league and, things of that nature. But it's a tough blow all around for the basketball world.
That is 100% sure. Hope that she has a full recovery. It hurts because as somebody who wants to be an ambassador for the game, and me myself, when I meet people who are like skeptical of women's basketball and not really into it, she's like one of the first people I can point out, like, yo, have you watched Juju yet?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're not into women's basketball? All right, you must have not watched Juju. Okay, all right. She's one of the people I could point to, and won't be able to point to her for a while, which is just unfortunate. All right, we got to take a quick break, but when we come back, Dame Lillard is going to be out for an indefinite amount of time. What does that mean for the Bucks this season? And what does it mean for the future of Giannis Antetokounmpo? We'll discuss that next, right after the break. All right, we're back inside the green room. I had to go ahead and switch up my headphones here. My headphone was about to die. Before we get into the Bucks situation, real quick.
You just live your life on edge. People that don't charge their electronics just live life on the edge.
I got two sets of headphones. So I don't got, if one dies, I'm ready for the next one. All right, with that being said.
Go ahead, continue.
Real quick, just a quick reminder. Go ahead and give us a 5-star review on any podcast app that you use.
Rate, subscribe, review.
The Audacy app. And we would greatly appreciate if you hit that subscribe button on YouTube as you are watching this. Now, let's get into the drama. Unfortunately, Danny, as reported late Wednesday evening, Damian Lillard will be missing an indefinite amount of time as he has been diagnosed with blood clots. Same thing that happened to Victor Wembanyama. Now, there has been a report that the Bucks have been told by doctors that this should not happen again. And so the likelihood of Dame being able to resume his career does seem likely. With that being said, while there has not been a definitive nature or definitive prediction for when he would come back, more than likely one would and should assume that he is going to miss the NBA playoffs. There's a lot of ramifications to that, or could be at least. But we would be doing a disservice if we just didn't react flat to the Dame Lillard diagnosis first. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to talk about that first before we talk about what that could mean.
Yeah, man. I spoke about this on a couple other segments that I've done. But, I know Dame on a personal level, and I hope that he's okay. I wish him the best. Prayers for him and his family. So he's been nothing short of a guy that's, been a warrior, fought through everything. So I know he'll bounce back. We know his career, he'll find a way back. It's just the timing of when he'll come back, right? We hope that it's not serious. We hope it doesn't turn into a Chris Bosh thing. We know they're going to monitor it, and it should be fine. But in the short picture of things, this could be very detrimental to the Bucks and the organization. Now, you're saying he might miss the playoffs. I was assuming he might be able to monitor this, take the blood thinners, have him on a good routine, and he might be there like right when playoffs start, or the second round if they make it out of the first round. So that's
still. I mean, that's still very optimistic.
It is.
It would seem like it would seem like a 3-month type of thing at least.
Well, we seen with the Victor Wembanyama thing, it was a 6-month thing when it was that severe. We don't know how severe this is or what it's looking like. I was on blood thinners at one point when I had the knee surgery. When you travel, you make sure that you get no clots. But I didn't have any clots, so I didn't have to worry about that. So I don't know what the severity of this is. I hope it's very minuscule and that it's small and that he can return in within 3 or 4 weeks. We don't know. If it's even in 3 months, that's even better than 6 months. But in the bigger picture of things, this changes everything for the organization, Milwaukee Bucks. Them not having Dame Lillard, they are no longer in contention. First of all, they were very barely there. They were a team that you kind of can slide in as a contender with him. Without him, they're not even close. It's not even a team that you can factor in, or that they might not get out the first round of the playoffs, without him. They could possibly make the second round, but contention is not happening. And hopefully it doesn't linger and last longer, because if that's the case, then Giannis is going to be looking to see what the future is for this organization, for him in that organization, which means he could be looking to be moved. And we talked about this off air before. So yes, as much as it sucks for Dame individually and as a group for the organization, but this could really blow things up for the organization if it doesn't get monitored quickly or handled correctly in the near future.
So last year, Giannis was not able to play in the playoffs, and there had to have been a part of him that said to himself, I wonder what Dame and I would have looked like last year in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. It didn't happen. And so this year comes around, and there was some noise going into the season as it pertains to if he would come back, if he would potentially ask out. And I think a lot of it died down when he signed the contract extension. But we all know in the NBA, if you want out, you want out. James, do we have the Shams Charania soundbite from February when he appeared on Get Up?
Matt, everyone knows Giannis Antetokounmpo loves the Bucks, but I'm here to tell you he loves winning more, and that's why everyone within that Bucks organization, they know what's at stake this season. They know the pressure, and every summer when Giannis looks around and he looks at the Bucks' current roster, he looks at sustained long-term winning. Where will he be able to find that? He has said publicly on the record, if he feels like that's not attainable anymore in Milwaukee, he will look elsewhere. But of course, he has tried always to make everything work.
Mind you, Shams Charania said this in February after the Bucks made a move to get Kyle Kuzma to improve the team for the playoff run. Not even 2 months ago. Yeah, exactly. Giannis could very well say, again, I am not that I'm wishing for it, but I am predicting that Dame Lillard will not play in the playoffs. Now, Giannis could very well say, you know what? We didn't get a fair shake of it. Run it back. He could also say, you know what? It probably wasn't going to work anyway. We were still the 5-6 seed in the East. We have an aging center. We're not getting any better per se. And even if we are okay, there's probably better options out there for me, or at least I should entertain them.
For me and my brother.
Yeah, for him and his brother. So
A-Team Smart signed Thanasis right away.
If you're a Bucks fan, this has to feel so bad, because it's not just you never got to see it in the playoffs, because you didn't get to see it last year. You probably won't get to see it this year. But Giannis could very well say, you know what? Even if we gave it our best shot, it wasn't going to work anyway. Or I do not have another year in my career, or I don't want to spend another year of my career trying to find out if it would work. I don't. That Shams Charania report that we aired, again, that just happened in February, would indicate that Giannis, at the very least, is skeptical about what they had going forward for this year's playoff run. I would imagine he's even more skeptical now that Dame is in the situation that he's in. Danny, I know we talked about Kevin Durant being the most popular free agent or most popular player to be moved this summer. He moves to number 2.
Yeah.
Giannis watches first. I honestly feel like it's barring some type of miracle where he goes nuts. I think the Giannis and Dame era is over.
Yeah, I think it's more so not the fact that it wasn't going to work anyway. It's just that the window was so short, and the fact that these injuries are happening now. You guys a year older, what do you think is going to happen? Like, the injury is going to only occur even more often. So either him or Dame, it seems like it's one of those things that's going to trend in that direction, and somebody's going to be hurt. So he's got to find a place where he has to not have to carry so much of the load and have younger stars with him that could, and not that Dame is old, but he's not a younger star like a Devin Booker, like a Tyler Hero. If he went to Miami, it was him, Tyler Hero, and Bam, I don't know, or just, him and Book and Phoenix. There's some other places that he can go where he has a younger star, and they could find some pieces to help, carry the load for him where his body could be managed better, and that a young star he can count on that won't be hurt in the playoffs. Ultimately, the window was very short when they made this trade. I think they all knew that. And the fact that we're seeing it dwindle and that window being closed even more, like, it's very cracked. That window is, you're getting very small breeze of opportunity with this group and with them too. So I think he knows that. And I think he'll be like, you know what, I think it's time to try to just move on from it, because I only have a year or two left. I need to find a place where I can try to find something in a year or two. Or he gets like, I was drafted here. I love the city. They gave me the money. They took care of me. They're going to get my brother back. I'm just going to ride it out to the sunset. We'll figure out some places, some pieces to get to make us still in playoff team and be somewhat contention. And hopefully it happens again. And I'm happy with just a 1 and stay there. Or he said he's going to be looked to be moved this summer.
Yeah, if Giannis's goal is to optimize the amount of championships that he could win in his career, I think it's time to go. I think that's it. I think unless there's some wizardry that could be done by the front office, I think this era of Giannis's career, it's probably best for it to come to a close. Now
they'd have to trade everybody. They'd have to trade a lot of people, right? Except for him.
And that's not to say. Oh my God. That is not to say that a miracle can't be pulled off.
Why we've seen it with Golden State, with Lakers. They got Luka somehow, and said Golden State's got Jimmy. It's kind of put them in a good space. So
who knows, Danny? Who knows? The Milwaukee Bucks might be down 1-3 in a playoff series and come all the way back and win, which would just be ironic because their head coach is Doc Rivers, which gets me to the quote of quotes, and I'm going to read it all the way through. This is Doc Rivers speaking to Anscape's Mark J. Spears. Mark Spears, former guest of the show. Oh, yeah, Doc Rivers, actually also former guest of the show. With that being said, it is what it is. And when speaking about his record of losing 3-1 leads in series, I'm going to read the full quote, so take me some time here. It is what it is. It's part of my legacy. There's nothing I could do about it. I got a team that was an 8 seed up 3-1. That is coaching. That is not bad coaching. The one with the Clippers is the only one that got away. But people don't realize that Chris Paul was running on one leg, referencing 2015 with the Clippers. And we were also the underdog in that series. When you think about it, Houston had home court, not us. No one tells a real story, and I'm fine with that. It's unfair in some ways. I don't get enough credit for getting the 3 wins. I get credit for losing. I always say, what if we had lost to Houston in 6? No one cares. One of the things I'm proud of is we've never been swept. All the coaches have been swept in the playoffs. My teams achieve. A lot of them overachieve. And I'm very proud of that.
It's hilarious that you can't finish the quote without cracking up. Nah, listen.
No. Come on, son. Come on, Doc. Yo, wild.
I'm not gonna be a part of this. I'm not gonna be a part of this. I'm gonna give my 2 cents to keep it moving. That year, the 2015, I don't think that's the only one that got away. There was another 3-1 when they had Kawhi. They had 2 iterations of the Clippers, Kawhi and PG. They were up 3-1 against Denver. Denver was a really good team. It was the bubble, so there was no real home court advantage. But the reason why you don't get the credit for the 3 wins is because you weren't really that much of an underdog. You know what I'm saying? Like, Lob City Clippers, y'all were a 2 seed. Were they not? So we dropped to, they beat us the first round. We dropped from 2 to 7 with the loss of the last season game. So I don't know, was Houston a number 1 seed? They must have been a 1 seed at that point.
I don't remember what Houston was, but
I look at that again.
I do distinctly remember they lost that. I think that was game 6, Danny. They was up like,
Austin
wasn't they up like?
Austin would play really well. First of all, the reason why you get so much, because you beat the team 3 times, and you had 3 times to just beat them once after that, and you allowed them to beat you 3 times in a row.
Remember, James Harden was on the bench. Remember, James Harden was on the bench for the end of the third quarter to the end of the game in one of those comeback losses.
Was it Corey Brewer and Josh?
And Josh Smith going off on his ass.
Smith going off. It was Josh Smith, and I feel like somebody else was going crazy. I'm like, what the? It's kind of like when Celtics had Eddie House, and you had that guy going off. So they went crazy, but you were
game
up
5.
CP was hurt, but Austin was playing well. You guys had many opportunities, and y'all were up some points. So, yeah, the credit for the wins, you don't get credit unless you win the series. That's the issue. Overachieve? I don't know. That might be a little bit of a reach, but he had good teams. And yes, I mean, he's never gotten swept. That's something to stand on, which is tough.
No,
not everybody
it's nothing to stand on. Come on, stop it.
There was a lot of games that was smoked there, and game 6
smoked a lot of games. Danny, didn't smoke games. Smoked series.
You're not underdog you're not much of an underdog. So
you're not an underdog when you're up 3. You're not an underdog when you're up 3-1. Once you're up 3-1, you're no longer an underdog. So cut that nonsense out. You cut the once you might have been.
It's not like you're taking these under talented teams. It's not like you're taking Minnesota with no star. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, Matt Barnes. You had a good team, and you had a good team with Kawhi and PG that lost. And then he said the Orlando team, you were 8 seed. So I don't remember what that team looked like. But you're up 3-1. You found out ways to beat them 3 times. You only got to get one more of that.
You're no longer an underdog when you go up 3-1. Point blank. It don't matter who got home court. It don't matter. It don't even matter, honestly.
You got home court at that point. You're 3-1.
Yeah, exactly. You have home court because you up 3-1. Yo, it's absolutely ridiculous to even. Nobody was thinking about it. Nobody was talking about it, and you brought this back up.
They didn't. They asked them though. They asked them. They asked them the question.
Okay, but even if Mark Spears asked him about it, he could have easily just said, "It's in the past. Move on." You don't need to go into
we all have our moments.
Yo, you don't need to go into a thesis
justification
about how you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, put it like, okay. I'm trying to think. So, okay, Danny, you've had bad games in your playoff career before, right?
100%.
You've also had good games.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hear you saying, well, I shot this poorly in this game because
I had tape on my fingers, or
No, you just say you don't even need. You could admit that you did poorly, or you could not even say you did poorly at all and just say, you know what, I won 3 titles. that's that. What Doc Rivers? Yeah, you can point out to Doc Rivers. You know what? You lost all these leads. Doc Rivers can say, "Shut the hell up! I won a title."
Yeah,
I'm getting paid, and I'm going to the Hall of Fame. What you want?
Somebody said, they'll pay me within a championship ring to lose 3-1 leads. I'm taking those odds because most people don't ever see it. It's a good way to just.
That's a great. That's it. That if I needed to do all that and the trade off is still 1 ring.
You know what? I'm okay. Yeah, because
if you have all those L's and no ring.
Yeah.
How bad look. But you know what I'm saying? I couldn't believe
Doc is
come on, Doc is wilding. He's wilding. He's absolutely wilding, and I don't understand why a man as accomplished as him would succumb to defending yourself, especially in the manner that he did. Take the L, bro. Well, if everything in your life was a win, this wouldn't be real. We'd be in another. This would be heaven or whatever.
Exactly. Failures make you who you are. The failures make you successful. So
come on,
for a reason.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
come on.
Just own it.
Just own it, bro. It's okay.
Well, hopefully Milwaukee keeps Giannis and Doc, not ever have the 3-1. He could come back from 3-1.
Come on,
son. Teams to do that.
Come on, son. You're wilding. All right. We got to get out of here. I do think so. The last 2 times we've done this, I have stumped you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm up 2-0. Granted, I have not been on the other side of this thing. So I think we're going to end today's show with you trying to stump me. Just for the record, just like I gave you, I do get 3 questions to ask, and I'm able to use my deductive reasoning to make 3 guesses.
Yes.
So just
100%, bro. 100%.
Okay.
There was 2 questions. I got to shout out to James for these questions. He had some good ones.
So we do 2. So to make it even, that I gave you 2, you gave me 2.
We can do 2, or we can just do 1.
Right.
The one he gave me was better than the other one. I know you'll get the other one pretty easily.
Okay.
Since we're talking about college in today's episode, I will make it as a 2-part. What was the last Cinderella team to make it to the Final Four?
Florida Atlantic. Or that was last year. That was 2 years ago.
Pretty good. The last 9 seed or below to reach the Final Four was. Is
it a 2-part question?
Well, it's more so who was the 9 seed. There's another part after this. You got that one fast, so I'm gonna get the part after this. What was the last 9 seed or below to make it to the Final Four?
9 seed or below. Damn. Hey, man. Hey, this is an NBA show, yo. I was going to say that.
I knew NBA one would be easy. All right,
NBA one, yeah. So listen, I got that right. I did the first part. Yeah, that's it. I got it.
The second part of that question was the players from that team on the roster that made it to that Final Four.
How about this? Okay, bet. To make it fair. Tell me the team, and I'll name you the NBA players from that roster.
But
is that fair? If I get that, I'm right. Right?
The last 9 seed or below to reach the Final Four was UCLA in 2021.
Damn.
Give me. There's 4 NBA players from that roster. If you can give me 2, you should be able to get this. You should be able to win. You'll be able to win. I'll give you 2.
2021.
Yeah.
Okay. So I finished 14, 15.
That's the NBA part of the question.
So this is after Kyle Anderson.
Of course, Kyle's been in the league for like 10 years now.
Yeah. Who's been in the okay, so Norman Powell and Kyle Anderson did not play on the same UC. Who else?
Is this a guess? Are these guesses?
I'm thinking out loud.
You got to name 2 out of the 4. It is 4 players that were on the NBA roster, and we'll give you four chances to get 2 of them, I guess, because you get
Okay, this is before Cronin was the coach. Who's coach before Cronin? You said 2021?
That's what we said.
All right. Oh, shit. Okay, my first question. Okay, here, this is how we're going to do it. I only got to name 2, right?
Yeah.
Out of 4.
Yeah, one of them should be easy. The other 3 are kind of hard.
All right. Name me. Oh, Cronin was the coach. Okay. Name me. What is the name of the most least popular player of that 4?
I give you the team. I'll give you teams that one of them is on, and you can give me who you think it is. I gotta give you a team. You said name you the least popular name.
Give me the name of the player. Give me. You said if I only have to name 2.
2.
Out of 4. Tell me. Yeah. What is the name of one of those players? And but give me the least popular one, please.
It's between 2 of them. I'm gonna go Johnny Dzang.
Damn, he's not in the NBA, bro.
He's on a roster, bro. He was on a roster. It may not be anymore, but he was on a roster.
Come on. Oh, who was playing with him? Okay, so it wasn't a small forward. What big man played for UCLA? All right. What NBA team does one of those players play for right now?
Outside of Johnny Dzang, you get a lot of
Yeah. I can't. Yeah,
Johnny
he's off the
Dzang
books now.
He was on a Utah Jazz roster. So another one, Washington Wizards is one.
Oh my God, the Wizards are on the team. I don't know who's on the damn Wizards.
Hey man, I'm not supposed to make it easy for you here, bro.
Yo, my God. 2020. Where did Kispert go to college?
I don't know. He's not one of them. Is that your guess? We can say that's a guess.
No.
You want to give you another team? I don't think it'll.
Champagny went to St. John's, but he's on the Spurs. Who's on the Wizards roster? All right. Okay, I got one more question to ask.
Yeah. Use a guess, right? At least one guess, because you have 3 more guesses after that. One of the guesses has to be gone at this point.
Kispert is one of them.
No, that's one. That's the 2 guesses gone at this point. You got 2 more guesses.
Bro, who's on that bum ass UCLA team?
I'll give you another team. Minnesota Timberwolves is another player that was on the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't know if he's still there or not, but he was. They had 4 guys in the league from that roster.
Bro, I quit. I'm upset. This is a hard ass question.
Well, the one you should have got plays with Miami Heat. He's one of the biggest names.
Jaime Jaquez.
There you go. So
I forgot about his ass.
Jaime Jaquez. Then you got Jules Bernard, Washington Wizards.
Oh, get the freak out! He's not on the Wizards, bro. He's not on the Wizards. He's on the DC Go-Go. He on the G League team.
Jalen Clark.
Oh, Jalen Clark. I should have known that one.
Minnesota, yeah. So
yeah, Jalen Clark. Okay.
Jaime and Jalen Clark for sure. Johnny and Jules a little bit tougher, but Jaime should have Jaime. I thought once you get Jaime, then you're like, all right, who played with Jaime? So I gave you everybody else that wasn't around. So
yeah. See, I see the problem was I wouldn't have known the answer to the original question. See the problem with that question derives from the NCAA tournament in 2021. We were still in the COVID world, 2021, and college basketball. I remember that. I remember not watching college basketball that year because without crowds, I guess they had crowds, but they didn't feel.
Yeah, it wasn't that good. I get it, bro.
It wasn't a standout year.
It's 2-1 right now. You're down. I'm down 1.
You're down 1. Okay.
Jimmy. Good looks, bro. Good looks, brother.
In terms of the difficulty level, that was like expert, bro. That wasn't even like. That
was tough, bro.
For real.
I'm gonna get some other ones on the back end. See if we get some more below expert, more professional. Said expert, professional. Above. You know.
Give me hard. That was like,
that
was like doctorate. That was like doctorate. That was like doctorate level. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Medical field level.
You gotta play like 40 hours of 2K to know names like that, man. I got time like that.
But appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Y'all know what to do. Read, rate, subscribe, review. We'll see y'all again next week. Peace.